I felt my phone buzz in my pocket about 20 minutes ago. Reached down, pulled it out, fully ready to see who texted me. Screen was completely black. No notification, no missed call, nothing. My phone was not even in that pocket. It was sitting on the kitchen counter, 6 feet away, silent the entire time. My leg had just decided, on its own, to feel a vibration that was not there. Turns out this happens to an enormous number of people, often enough that it has an actual name, and the explanation goes back way further than smartphones. Your skin evolved to be almost paranoid about small movements against it, because for most of human history, a tiny crawling sensation against your leg was one of the more dangerous things that could happen to you. Which raises a question MS has been sitting with for a while. If your body is willing to fully hallucinate a vibration just to avoid missing something crawling on you, what does that tell you about how your ancestors actually spent their days? Hi, I'm Marin Still, and today, MS is opening the file on phantom vibrations. MS is not going to tell you this means your nervous system is broken, and MS is also not going to tell you it is nothing, just ignore it. MS is going to walk you through the actual research behind this sensation and the evolutionary logic underneath it, and by the end of this, that fake buzz in your pocket is going to make a lot more sense. Let's start with how common this actually is. In 2010, a researcher named Michael Rothberg, working at Bay State Medical Center, surveyed hospital staff who regularly carried pagers and phones, asking a simple question: had they ever felt their device vibrate when it had not actually gone off? The results were striking. A large majority of the people surveyed, well over 2/3, said yes, they had experienced this phantom vibration sensation, often repeatedly. This was not a rare glitch happening to a small, strange minority. It was closer to the default human experience for anyone who regularly carries a device against their body. So what is actually happening in your nervous system when this occurs? Your skin is absolutely packed with tiny pressure and touch sensors, called mechanoreceptors, nerve endings, whose entire job is detecting the smallest physical disturbances against your body. A light touch, a slight pressure change, the faintest brush of movement. That sensory information travels up your nerves to your brain, which then has to make a judgment call. Is this something, or is this nothing? Here is the part that connects this all the way back to your ancestors. Stay with me, it gets weirder. An evolutionary psychiatrist named Randolph Nesse at the University of Michigan described a concept that applies directly here, sometimes called the smoke detector principle. The idea is straightforward. A cheap smoke detector that goes off constantly for burnt toast is annoying, but it costs you almost nothing. A little irritation, a wave of your hand. A smoke detector that stays silent during an actual fire costs you everything. Because the two types of mistakes are wildly unequal in cost, evolution consistently favors alarm systems that are trigger-happy, that produce a lot of false positives, over alarm systems that are cautious and occasionally miss the real thing. Now apply that logic to your skin. For most of human history, a faint crawling or tapping sensation against your leg or arm had a real chance of being something that actually mattered: a mosquito about to bite and potentially transmit disease, a tick working its way towards skin, a scorpion or centipede that had wandered onto exposed flesh while you slept near the ground. In every one of those cases, a fast reaction, a slap, a jerk, a full-body flinch cost you almost nothing if you were wrong. But failing to react to a genuinely dangerous insect or parasite could cost you an infection, a venomous sting, or worse. So your nervous system evolved with a strong bias. When in doubt, treat a faint, ambiguous sensation on your skin as something rather than nothing. False alarms were cheap. Missed alarms were not. Picture an ancient human sleeping on the ground at night, exposed skin against dirt, grass, and whatever happened to be crawling through the camp after dark. Their nervous system does not have the luxury of carefully verifying every tiny sensation before reacting. A faint tickle against the ankle gets treated as a 5-alarm fire, whether it turns out to be an actual venomous creature or just a blade of grass shifting in the wind. The person who slaps at every ambiguous sensation, even the 99 times out of 100 when it turns out to be nothing, is still better off, evolutionarily speaking, than the person who waits to be completely sure before reacting even once. Which brings us to your leg buzzing in an empty pocket. A phone set to vibrate produces a very particular kind of physical sensation, a repetitive, faint pressure pattern against your skin, remarkably similar in texture to exactly the kind of ambiguous crawling or tapping sensation your mechanoreceptors evolved to flag immediately. Your nervous system, running on ancient rules that have never been updated, occasionally throws a false positive. It fires off a signal that says something is touching you right now, based on nothing more than a stray nerve impulse, a shift in clothing, or your own pulse, and your brain, primed for millions of years to trust that signal rather than question it, hands you the unmistakable feeling of a phone that simply is not there. So the next time you reach for a phone that never actually buzzed, you are not malfunctioning, and you are definitely not imagining things in some random, meaningless way. You are running an extremely old, extremely well-calibrated alarm system, one that was built by a very long line of ancestors who survived specifically because they overreacted to things crawling on their skin rather than underreacted. Your leg is not broken. It is doing exactly what it evolved to do, treating every faint, ambiguous sensation as a possible threat first, and sorting out the details later. Hi, I'm Marin Still, and now you can never unknow this.